I really don't care what happens to her at all. I don't care. Like everybody they tiptoe around with this social media, but what y'all don't get is that it be real consequence for y'all little flexes, y'all quick flexes for $300 that you need. It be consequence.
No one expected Iman to say anything. Ever since the breakup, he'd kept his distance. He wasn't giving interviews, wasn't seen with other women, wasn't reacting to the constant flood of rumors online. People thought he'd quietly moved on, closed the chapter, and was living his own life. But then came the baby, and something about that changed everything. Suddenly, silence turned into suspicion. And now, Iman Shumpert is demanding a DNA test. Not because he wants drama, but because, according to people close to him, he's not convinced the baby is even Aaron's. And that demand shaken everything. It all started quietly behind closed doors. Tayana had just gone through one of the most painful moments of her life. She gave birth in silence. No Aaron, no support, no signature on the birth certificate. Just her child, and the realization that the man she trusted to stay had already walked away. The moment should have been beautiful, but instead, it became another chapter in her story of heartbreak. And just when she was beginning to gather the pieces again, another bomb dropped. Sources close to Iman say he reached out directly to Tayana through mutual contacts. He wasn't aggressive, but he was serious. He wanted answers. He told a friend, "I've done the math. I've looked at the dates. I'm not crazy. I just need to know the truth." That truth, as it turns out, might not be what anyone expected. Because apparently, the timeline between her relationship with Iman ending and the one with Aaron beginning isn't as clean-cut as the public thought. And now, with Aaron refusing to take responsibility, Iman is wondering if the reason is because deep down, he already knows. Tayana didn't see it coming. She was still recovering emotionally and physically from the delivery, still grieving the absence, still nursing a baby while trying to rebuild her own peace. When she heard that Iman was questioning paternity, she was stunned. According to someone very close to her, she didn't even know how to respond. She kept repeating, "Why now? Why would he do this now?" But behind the scenes, the whispers were growing louder. People in their shared circle started doing their own math, pulling receipts, checking photos, and realizing something might actually be off. The dates weren't impossible, but they were close. Too close. And while that alone isn't evidence, it's enough to spark doubt. And when doubt mixes with past emotions, the results can be explosive. Tayana felt betrayed. First by Aaron, now by Iman. Two men she had once loved, both now pointing fingers, both treating her like a question mark. One left, the other accused. And she, caught in the middle, holding a child and wondering how something so pure turned into this mess. One friend said she cried for hours when she first heard about the DNA request. Not because she had something to hide, but because she felt exhausted. She's tired of being disrespected, tired of being questioned, tired of fighting for the truth when no one believes her. But Iman, in his mind, wasn't trying to hurt her. Sources say he's been losing sleep over it. That he's not angry, just confused. That the baby has features that remind him of his own. That certain dates never sat right with him. And that he tried to ignore it, but couldn't anymore. "I just want peace," he reportedly said. "But I can't find it until I know." The internet, as expected, exploded. People took sides immediately. Some were outraged that Iman would do this now, during her recovery, during this vulnerable time. Others said it made sense. That if there's even a chance the child is his, he has a right to know. Twitter turned into chaos. Hashtags like #DNAWithIman and #Who'sTheDaddy started trending. Memes flew. Old photos were dug up. Fans became investigators. And as always, the truth got lost somewhere between the jokes and the judgments. Some accused Iman of trying to stay relevant, of being jealous, of not wanting to see her move on peacefully. Others defended him, saying he was being responsible, that he wasn't trying to start drama. He was trying to stop it. That a man asking for a DNA test, while painful, isn't necessarily an attack, just a way to be sure. And yet, the timing made everything feel cruel. Meanwhile, Aaron stayed completely silent. Not a post, not a comment, not even a cryptic quote. Nothing. He disappeared the moment responsibility was mentioned and hadn't returned since. Some people started saying he must have known. That his silence wasn't confusion, it was avoidance. That maybe he had been told the truth from the beginning, and that's why he refused to sign anything. That he didn't want to say it out loud, but already believed what Iman is now trying to prove. Tayana, according to insiders, is barely speaking. She hasn't made any public statements. She hasn't addressed the rumors. But those around her say she's devastated. That she feels like her name, her motherhood, her dignity, are all being questioned in ways that cut deep. She's not just fighting for her name, one friend said. She's fighting for her child's peace. And that's what hurts the most. There are rumors that her legal team is involved now. That they've advised her not to speak publicly. That they're reviewing the situation and deciding whether to take the test quietly or push back. Some believe she's already taken the test privately and is waiting for the results. Others say she's refusing on principle, because she's sick of men thinking they have the right to demand proof from her. But even those closest to her can't say for sure. Because the truth is, Tayana doesn't trust anyone right now. Not after what Aaron did. Not after what Iman is suggesting. Not after being left alone in the hospital room with nothing but silence and doubt. Still, the rumors won't stop. The theories keep growing. Some say the baby does resemble Iman. Others say it's just projection. That people are seeing what they want to see. A few celebrities have even chimed in, some offering support, others staying quiet. One well-known actress tweeted, "Postpartum is hard enough without being accused of lying about your child." Another added, "Men need to be careful how they play with a woman's peace after childbirth." But despite all the noise, the headlines, the speculation, the relentless online discourse, Tayana remains the one carrying the deepest wounds. Beneath the hashtags and think pieces is a woman trying to hold herself together. She's not just facing a scandal, she's navigating betrayal from every direction. People she trusted have folded under pressure. Whispers have replaced loyalty. Her name, once spoken with admiration, is now dragged through the mud by people who don't know her, don't care about the truth, and only see the clicks. And perhaps the cruelest part, her child. An innocent life, born into a storm they never asked for, now being questioned and dissected by strangers before they've even learned to walk. And for Iman, the fallout might not be what he imagined. Because even if the DNA test proves what Tayana has always known, that the child is his, the emotional damage is already done. His doubts were spoken out loud, aired for the world to hear. And words, once released, don't disappear. They echo. And for someone who once claimed to love her, who once promised protection and partnership, this may be the moment that finally severs whatever fragile thread still connected them. A relationship that had been quietly cracking for years may have just collapsed completely under the weight of suspicion. There are still those who believe this can be handled neatly, quietly. That Tayana will submit to the test, let the results speak, and close this chapter once and for all. But there's another version of this story. One where she doesn't. One where she chooses to protect her peace, and more importantly, her child's peace over public approval. Where she says no. Not out of fear. Not because she has something to hide. But because she refuses to reduce her child to proof. To a receipt. To another headline in a drama that should have ended long ago. Because sometimes the bravest thing a mother can do is draw a boundary. Say enough. And walk away without explaining herself to a world that's only ever tried to break her. In the end, Tayana may lose the public's approval, but she will keep her power. And for a woman who's been through this much, peace is the only validation that truly matters. This isn't just gossip anymore. This isn't some fleeting headline or tabloid rumor meant to be quickly forgotten. This is a woman's life. Raw, complicated, and painfully exposed. A mother's truth, held quietly behind closed doors but now laid bare for the world to scrutinize. It's a harsh reminder of how quickly love can shift into accusation, how fragile trust is when weighed against suspicion and public judgment. The story might be loud online, exploding across social media feeds and news outlets, but for Tayana, the pain is a quiet undercurrent, silent, steady, and deeply real. It's the kind of hurt that doesn't seek attention, doesn't beg for sympathy. It simply exists, heavy and unyielding, beneath the surface of every breath she takes. We may never know all the details. The private moments, the late-night conversations, the full context behind the cracks in their relationship might never come to light. We may never receive a public confirmation, a final statement to satisfy the world's relentless hunger for answers. But what is clear, undeniable now, is that this isn't just about paternity. This isn't simply about who a child's biological father is. It's about respect. Respect for a woman's truth, respect for her dignity, and respect for the sanctity of her experience. It's about accountability, about the weight of words that too often get thrown around without regard for the damage they cause. It's about recognizing what happens when people believe they have the right to question a woman's honesty, her character, without understanding or caring about the profound impact of their judgment. Because at the heart of this story, there is still a baby, an innocent life caught in the crossfire of ego, betrayal, and unfinished heartbreak. A child who didn't ask to be part of this drama but now carries its burden. And no matter what any test or public opinion says, that child deserves peace, deserves protection from the noise and the cruelty, deserves love, unconditional, fierce, and unwavering. So whether the results come quietly, behind closed doors, or never come at all, one thing is certain: Tayana is walking through fire right now. And how she emerges from those flames will not only define this chapter of her life, but will shape the future she will build for herself and her child.